Welcome back to Darlington. You can be the Grand Marshal for a day in our Fox contest. Turn into the first hour after the checkered flag drops for the rest of our Winston Cup races. Look for the secret number on the animated car and then log on to foxsports.com or NASCAR.com. You can wave the flag, be in victory lane, and be associate director for a day. Steve Burns.
Mike, Tugboat Ice Crews gave him 2 lightning fast pit stops. Crew chief Tony Liberati, great stops on pit road. Tell us about your race car.
Well, first of all, that pit crew, them guys been working out all winter. Greg Coleman's been there helping us out. We got a trainer in there working, practicing pit stops, and it's showing right now. The race car, believe it or not, we come in and no changes at all. Todd's doing real good. I've been trying to rein him in a little bit when he's out there leading, but he's doing a heck of a job. Tire wear looks good, and so far it's been an okay day. I'm just waiting for lightning to strike somewhere.
That's Darlington right there, buddy. That just sums it up.
Chances are.
Be out there leading the race, just riding around, nothing going on, and a whap into the fence you go.
You know, Darrell, a kid that started back in 37, Chad Blunt in the 19 car. He's been keeping his nose clean. You talked to him this morning. He's moved up to 13th. His crew chief, Patrick Donahue, was part of a lot of Jeff Gordon's wins here.
Yeah, he told me this place reminds him of a place I race a lot, and he has too, Salem, Indiana.
Yep, that Todd Braun team, for a new team, continues to impress.
Finished second in the ARCA points last year.
Pretty savvy little driver.
Ron Hornaday, restart Ron. Gives Todd Bodine a little love tap as they come down to take the green. Hermie Sadler is still trying to get one of his laps back on the inside. To no avail.
Ron Hornaday in the 2 car going by Hermie Sadler. Today we talk about these kids. Brian Vickers in that 5 car. He's been keeping his nose clean up there in 4th position.
Jamie McMurray tried to make a move on Johnny Sauter. Didn't pay off. He's going to back up to alongside Jason Keller.
Murray's car really handles good right around the bottom of turns 3 and 4 down there. It's where he makes all of his passes.
Shane Meal trying to come up the outside.
I've got to believe there's some grip down there because hadn't anybody been running down there for 2 days.
You know, that's where his car was so good at Rockingham, and that was this very car we talked about earlier. And the racetracks are very similar.
4 caution flags due to crashes. All drivers have been checked at the care center and released. No injuries, thankfully. LaJoy way up there.
Up the racetrack. He's going to lose a couple positions, maybe 3.
And while you're up there trying to get it off the wall and you can't get back to the throttle, everybody drives under you and really gets you in trouble.
He was just about out of Darlington County.
Jamie McMurray, he is wearing that apron out, but the car sticks.
I tell you what, when your car stick down there, that's the place to be. Everybody slides up and you drive right by them. I got to believe this is where they first started using the phrase slide job. I know it's something they use in sprint cars and other kind of open wheel cars, but you put more slide jobs on people here than you do anything else.
Look at this second pack of cars, Darrell. I mean, they've gone single file up ahead of this bunch, but this is still quite a log jam here. And LaJoy again might have scraped the wall.
I don't know what they did to LaJoy's car, but he's not having it. The thing's not anywhere near as good as it was before this pit stop.
And you just wonder, Darrell, we talked about this earlier, maybe they went too low on the air pressure here right after a pit stop.
Yeah, and of course you like to do that, but then you know you're going to keep saying it'll come to you, it'll come to you. Yeah, but everybody got away from me while I was waiting for it to. What do they say, Matt?
Well, what they're saying, D, is that Randy thinks he might have a broken right front shock on the 7 car.
That will not work at this place.
No, he's getting freight trained now.
Yeah, he's definitely got a handling problem because he can't keep it down in the turns.
With Coy Gibbs and Scott Riggs battling Hornaday for second place.
A lot of youth right there. Scott Riggs and Brian Vickers in the 5, driving for Rick Hendrick.
Got to be careful right here, Brian. Easy, buddy. Easy.
You carry so much speed right there. I mean, even though you're coming off a corner, you've been in the throttle for a long time, and you run out of racetrack, the car just pitches to the outside.
So this is now for 3rd place. Vickers trying to take it away from Hornaday.
Yeah, that turns 1 and 2. You got to hitch it about 2 times to get through that corner.
He lost a lot of ground right there. He put those left side tires on the apron. You have to roll out of the throttle.
Yeah, he needs to be able to slide up in front of Ron. He couldn't do it, so he did the right thing.
He'll come back.
Get back in line.
No
That's
pressure
it.
from behind.
Get back in line and work on him.
Well, look who's coming. That 21 of Johnny Sauter, who led earlier, has to get past Hermie Sather. Then he'll be in a position of challenge, and we've just passed halfway. I don't want to say that with too much enthusiasm.
I am. Hallelujah.
Oh.
Halfway. These teams have to be in Bristol on Thursday.
That's true. Todd Bodine is our halfway leader over Scott Riggs, Ron Hornaday, Brian Vickers, and Johnny Sauter. Welcome back to Darlington. Jamie McMurray there working on Johnny Sauter. That's for 5th. Kerry Earnhardt has cut down a right front, pounded the wall, but made it back to pit road for lengthy repairs. And Todd Bodine, who was the first car out of yesterday's Winston Cup race, has dominated this race so far.
The one car I thought he had a pass made here, but he comes off the turn 4 down here, and they kind of rubbed together. You can see he did a little damage to his right front fender there, just right in front of the front tire. That doesn't help your aerodynamics. You can see how it curved it in. That'll make that thing pick up a push. That's what happened with Jeff Gordon yesterday.
These guys have been battling for 5th for about the last 10 or 15 laps.
McMurray just can run. He just got such a good. He's running a lane or 2 lower than anybody else through the corners.
And closing up on that battle is Shane Meal. Matt's in his pit.
Well, Mike, when you look back to last year, no one doubted Shane Meal was very fast behind the wheel of a race car. He just had a problem making it the entire distance without maybe being too impatient. But this year, it's completely the opposite. As we're going 3 wide, Shane makes the move down the inside. Jerry Kinnan told me this race, 2 stages. The first half is just a preview. Once you get past halfway, he can go. But what I also told me was during one of the cautions, Shane actually was observing the 3 wide racing and said, boy, look at those guys being really impatient up there. And Jerry Kinnan responded back, now we're learning. You're seeing how you have to go the entire distance to be there to win.
But I tell you, Matt, don't let your guard down yet. We still have a long way to go. We heard Bobby Hamilton after the Craftsman Truck Series race said he ran that entire race, won the race, never raced anybody. He just raced this place, the lady in black.
I think it's a shady lady. A little shady.
I like what you said yesterday.
Call it a lady, yeah.
Cruella DeVille.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Cruella DeVille. If this is a lady, that's who it should. That's the name it should have.
Didn't you rent one of those from National for the weekend?
I have a
Cruella DeVille.
I have a DeVille, yeah.
Okay.
That's what made me think of that.
You know, guys, a car that I've been watching.
The track, Bubba, you're doing good.
There's that term, race the track. But I tell you, a kid that's done a good job.
Don't worry about the one. Just do your deal.
It's Jerry Kinnan, again, talking to Shane Meal, just like Matt Yoakum was talking about it. But he started back in 25th. He comes in here 10th in points, and that's Casey Kane in that 38 car. He was fast in both the practices. And Steve Burns the other day talked to Casey and learned a lot about his approach now that he's running all the races. Right, Steve?
Hey, Larry Mack, that's right. He ran 20 races last year with Robert Yates Racing. He comes from the same racing background as Tony Stewart, racing midgets and sprints. He grew up building those race cars. He's moved to Huntersville, North Carolina to be near the race shop. He said he goes to the gym, works out every morning, then he's at the race shop the rest of the day so he can learn everything he can about working on these cars. And he said racing every week here in the Busch Series is really going to help his confidence and his rhythm.
He just flew past Stacy Compton to take over 12th place.
As a matter of fact, Tony Stewart told me, he said, that's a kid that's going to make a name for himself in this sport. You watch.
We're looking at a Coy Gibbs right here, the 18 car, the MBNA car. He's back in 14th position, started 36. Remember, he has 2 starts here in the Craftsman Truck Series. He leads the rookie battle right now by only 2 points over Chad Blunt that we saw earlier.
You know, it's funny that the ebb and flow of driver development. When Ron Bouchard came on the scene and won in his first dozen races, everybody wanted a modified driver. When Rusty Wallace came along and did real well, everybody wanted an ASA driver. Tony Stewart's the Winston Cup champ. Everybody wants a midget or a sprint car driver.
I think it's just evolution of the cars. The cars just keep changing. The tires keep changing. And I think what helps the guys now is with the harder tire that we have, the cars slide around. And that slide around feeling takes a lot of car control, and you develop that in a sprint car and a midget. And I think that's what's helping some of these guys coming up from that series.
Good point. Chris Bingham just bounced off the wall in turn 2, and we're starting to see this kind of thing so often. It's just like casual contact. We'll mention it when we can, but it's almost like no big deal. Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, just listening to the radio communication between Todd Bodine and his crew chief, Tony Liberati, they didn't make any adjustments on that last pit stop, just 4 tires, and now Todd is reporting that the car is loose off the corners.
And yeah, right now, Scott Riggs in that 10 car running second. He's starting to slowly but surely reel him in. So you can tell that car maybe in what it was earlier.
And I believe that's a product of Scott Riggs coming here and testing. You make those long runs, come up with a good setup for the long green runs here.
42 cars started, 28 are still running at the track Too Tough to Tame. At Darlington, Todd Bodine going from 0 to hero. Yesterday he got caught up in the lap 23 crash, not of his making, and was the first car out.
You look right behind him, though, and you better pick up the pace because there's a yellow car closing up on him in a hurry.
That'll be Scott Riggs, top rookie 1 year ago. Let's go to his pit and Steve.
Mike, you guys mentioned that Scott Riggs tested down here at the Lady in Black. They used an interesting tool to help them with their setup. They mounted an infrared camera that could take tire temperatures across the right front tire that gave them real-time data. That was a great tool in helping them adjust camber or the degree to which they lean the tire in or out. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, Brian Vickers was so excited when I talked to him Saturday morning about coming back to Darlington. He had a great race car, and he really wanted to kind of get off that bad luck at the Lady in Black even last year where he crashed out early. Today, about maybe 6 or 7 laps ago, he was talking to his team, and the team said 61 laps to go. And he said, long pause, 61 laps I have to go on this set of tires? They said, no, 61 laps till the race is over. And then he said, but I do get one more set of tires, right? They go, yes, we do.
All right.
But I tell you, that's going to be interesting. I know we still have a long way to go. We've got about 52 laps to go. But when those guys made that pit stop, that was right on top of their fuel window. Maybe a little further than they can go. So this thing has a green flag look. And we know the history of this race is long green runs in the middle to the end. So we could see some strategy cook in toward the end of this race.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the tires, it's just like you're riding along. Car's handling pretty good. Car's handling pretty good. All of a sudden you go in the corner and that sucker takes off and takes a death slide, and you say, what in the world happened? The tires are gone.
And the interesting thing, this is the same tire combination you run at Las Vegas. You could run forever on tires there, but this place is like a piece of 80 grit sandpaper. It just wears the tires out.
Late change, Scott Riggs.
I mean,
well, we watched,
in a hurry, I mean.
Yeah, we watched McMurray and Hornaday side by side, and Hornaday brushed the wall in turn 2.
Yeah, he got up out of the groove there and got in the loose stuff. It's real dirty right up next to the wall off of 2 over there.
And the interesting thing about Scott Riggs' car, the 10 car, that's a 2002 car. This team has not raced a 2003 body yet. Here's a pass for the lead right here.
Goes up, he's going to, well, Todd just lets him have the outside. Todd saw him coming, been closing up on him pretty quickly, just let him go. Smart thing to do.
Yep, I got one more set of tires coming. You go burn up your stuff, right?
But you know, from a brand new set of tires to a set of tires that has 50 or 60 laps, Darrell, we saw this yesterday, 2.5 seconds difference quicker on those fresh tires.
13 miles an hour difference in speed.
So Hornaday now is dropping back a bit. Matt?
Well, Mike, you mentioned he hit the wall off turn 2. He's just trying to even things out. He hit the wall off turn 4 about 12 laps ago. Hornaday reporting into his crew chief, Ricky Byers. The car is just way too loose. He's just going to try to hold on to it until he gets some fresh tires.
And then when a car's too loose, it hits the wall with the back of it.
Right rear's gone. I don't know what you got to do to get it off of it.
Used up the right rear.
The back end just will. Man, dancing around here loose is no fun at all.
Johnny Sauter draws a bead on Hornaday, and he's going to make the pass for 5th place.
The car's a little tight. You got the steering wheel and the gas pedal both to work with. You can keep the car going in the right direction. When that sucker gets loose, nothing helps it except tires.
And you know, again, Darrell, with only 50 laps to go, or less than 50 laps to go, yeah, you can come and get 4 fresh tires. But remember, this pit road is very long, 45 miles an hour. Can you make the difference up even though you're going to be running that much quicker on fresh set of tires if several cars stay out and don't pit?
Well, the car just gets uncontrollable, Larry. I mean, it finally gets to a point where you've got to stop because you just can't drive it anymore.
And then if you put on fresh tires, you're going to be catching those other cars so fast that it's going to be tough to get out of their way.
15 cars on the lead lap. Give a call to Regan Smith, the teenager there in that white car. has done a good job today staying on the lead lap and avoiding 2 close calls.